Thank you everyone for joining another batch service webinar. Talking about on-market deals today and partnering with agents. And I'm in the presence of greatness today. We have Jamil Damji with me. You may know him from A&E's Triple Digit Flip, but at Batch here, we love Jamil, longtime friend. He also is the founder of Astro Flipping. And Jamil's a perfect person to be on today because he is the expert at helping investors partner with agents, bringing investors and agents together to do more deals. And part of that as an investor is learning how to network with agents, how to get a hold of them, how to work those deals. So Jamil, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate you.
What's up, Phil? How you doing, man? Nice to be here. Happy to see you guys all.
So quick agenda for today. We're going to first just talk about what are we talking about when we say on market. A lot of you have used batch products before, maybe investors, maybe wholesalers. And, you know, for a long time, the whole game for batch has been off market, right? So finding sellers who are distressed in some way or motivated to sell and getting that property off market. We're going to talk about the on market side of that today. We're going to talk about agent outreach. Jamil's going to talk about that strategy, what that looks like in practice. And then as we've been alluding to, we've got a new product in Batch Leads that will help you guys do that. And so we'll take a look at that live and show you guys how that works. So without further ado, Jamil, let's just talk about what is off market, what is on market, what are some of the pros and cons of both? I know you dabble on both sides of business there.
Yeah. So, looking at this screen, this is a real great visual representation of the difference between off market and on market. So let's just kind of compare the two, right? So you've got off market, which again, you guys see me clown it all the time, going direct to seller. There's nothing funny about it. It's a very incredible strategy. There's less competition, right? So when you're going direct to seller, you can get super nichey with your lists, which is what Batch does at a high level, right? You're looking for situational distress. You're looking for situational motivation. You're looking for financial motivation. You're looking at the physical characteristics of the property. Is there some deferred maintenance? Is there a hoarding situation? Is there code violations? Just a compounding effect of life stressors or property stressors that are causing the seller to become more motivated. And then when you look at that, there's so many different angles, right? You can go into pre-foreclosure. You can talk about absentee owners. I mean, it's incredible to me how many absent, vacant homes there are in the United States at any given time. And we have a housing crisis. There's not enough inventory. There's not enough homes available yet. We have 5 to 7 million vacant zombie houses sitting in the United States at any given time, right? What are these guys doing with these houses? And so there's the high equity. These are people that have bought these homes 10, 20 years ago, and they're sitting on just a lot of potential equity. I'm not going to say full equity because as we'll talk about today a little bit, but potential equity is what we as investors are trying to go after. And then, you look at the empty nesters, people that are having a life change, folks that have their children who moved out and they just got too much house. And again, we just mentioned the zombie houses, right? These are just houses that are terrible. They almost look like they should be dead people, but they need to be revived. These are homes that people can live in. And I've revived so many zombie houses. And so there's a great opportunity there. Characteristics as a business, less competition. You get higher return on investment because these are the juicy deals, right? This is where you're going to get a $40,000 or $50,000 assignment fee. You buy these houses for less money because there's no agents involved. There's less friction. There's less people to pay. But, again, you're going to need cash. You're going to need hard money and you're going to spend money on marketing. This is not free. You're going to buy lists. You're going to skip trace that. You're going to buy a dialer. You're going to have acquisitions people. This is going to be a costly effort. When you compare that to active on-market deals, what we've got in that world are sellers who have raised their hand. These are people who said, I'm ready to buy. I'm ready to sell. I want to sell my house. And typically what ends up happening, 99% of sellers talk to a real estate agent, even if they trade off market. 99% of people who are going to sell a house talk to an agent. On top of that, though, these real estate agents, oftentimes in these houses, they don't know what to do with these homes. When we're talking about the kind of houses that we like to buy as wholesalers, these are houses that are in distressed condition. Often they're not financeable, right? You can't get an FHA loan. You can't get a VA loan on that. So there's an opportunity there. But in addition to that, what about these active listings, these canceled and expired listings, or the coming soon pocket listings? So these are great opportunities for people to get in. They're a great opportunity for us to really negotiate and get these sellers, these people that raised their hands and said, I'm ready to sell and do deals. On top of that, though, you do have more competition because you're on the MLS now. You're dealing with thousands of people who see the house, but these can cost you very little money to get. I think this is the most important thing. The potential for multiple deals. You can't build relationships with homeowners and get 5 or 10 or 100 houses off of one homeowner. It's very rare. Very rare for a homeowner to sell you more than one house. As the market shifted, right? Agents became more open to different types of buyers. And, when the market's really hot and things are popping, agents get this funny attitude of, I don't need to sell to an investor because this house will sell no matter what. When the market shifts, agents change their tune. But on top of that, I think that as wholesalers and as an industry, what we've done a really good job of is elevating the standard of how we operate. I think 5 years ago, the way that wholesalers were really playing the game is a lot different from the way that we're playing the game now. Back then, people weren't learning how to comp. Back then, people were just writing lowball offers and literally canceling way more often than they were closing, right? And so there's lack of trust.
Just a few scenarios of how this sort of agent outreach works, right? And important to note here, it's not just tapping into properties that are on market or coming to market that an agent might have. It's also tapping into their network of buyers, right? So if we have properties under contract, we can work with agents to source buyers. So the big question is, how do you approach partnering with agents? How do you know which agents to find, where they're operating? How do you know you're working with agents that are doing business in your buy box? How do you connect with them at the right time? And I'm going to jump over here to Batch Leads, and we'll show you the solution to that, which again, Jamil has had a big hand in helping us build here. So within Batch Leads, for those of you who use Batch Leads, a lot of this seems familiar, but there's a new tab here called Agent Outreach. And this is actually a nationwide directory of agents that's searchable, and it's coupled with our nationwide MLS coverage. So let's role play here a little bit of a scenario, Jamil. When you are thinking about building a relationship with new agents or reaching out to agents, what are some of the things that are important to you? And we'll just go to the search here and look at how we can whittle down the search.
Yeah. So, first, it's kind of an interesting topic, like who's the best agent to talk to? In my opinion, every agent's the best agent to talk to. I don't like to discriminate, to say, oh, this realtor only does 10 deals a year, they're not good. Or this realtor only does 5 deals a year, they're not good. Not at all true. I think you talk to every realtor, okay? Because especially the agents who don't do a ton of business, they're even more likely to work with you and give you a pocket listing because they don't have a ton of relationships. They're not talking to a lot of investors. They don't have a lot of buyers. And so they're really open to doing business with you because they're kind of new, or they don't have a big Rolodex of customers or clients that they go to, right? So my personal opinion is I want to talk to every realtor, but there's a few minimum criteria that are important. First and foremost, I want to have seen that you've at least had an active listing in the last year. I think having an active listing or having done some business in the last year is important. The other side is I want to be able to see, what price point are you working in, right? For instance, if I'm looking for specific like luxury properties, I want to be able to talk to realtors who are listing houses $500,000 or more. If I'm dealing with starter homes, anything under $600,000 is where I want to talk to. So the beautiful thing about what Batch has been able to do is they've segmented it out. So I can actually search what price point this agent works in, how many listings they've sold in the last 12 months, what's their total dollar volume in the last 6 months. I mean, that's really important, right? These are important data points for me because now I can see how active is this person, what price point do they work in, and on top of that, I have all of the details. So when I'm talking to a realtor, one of the things I like to do is I like to reference.
I'm curious, Jamil, as we're looking at this, one of the things you can search by is the brokerage that they've hung their license on. Is that important to you? Do you find that, certain agents at certain brokers are easier to work with?
I don't like to take the approach of certain brokerage is going to have a problem with me or hard, but it's good to know. Like if you're with a Remax, then I know that you value a name and you're willing to pay for it. You're willing to pay for the recognition of being in a Remax. And, a lot of agents, they choose these smaller brokerages because the fees are lower, right? So if I see that you're with a discount brokerage, what might you value? Saving money, making more money, like every penny counts to you. So I know what kind of person you are. You're with Remax and you're willing to pay 30% of your commission to a brokerage because of a name. I also know something about you. I know what you value, right? And so it just gives me an understanding. I think it's important in being able to determine the personality of the person that you're talking to and trying to make as many assessments as I can before we say hello.
So I want to point out, this is really a tool to help you guys manage networking and building a relationship with agents at scale, right? And so we showed you the search here, you can have lead status here. You can add notes. You can see the activity that you've taken with this agent over time. So you can go back here and reference your lists for follow-ups. You can call agents directly here from in the app, all kinds of cool stuff here. And just like any other list that you would build in batch, you can add these to campaigns too, right? So if you want to send these to Dialer, if you want to export this list, put it in another tool, you can do all those same things. I also want to point out too, that when you guys are looking for properties, let's say I'm looking for in Phoenix, let's go listings that have been on the market for over 30 days, for example. So when you're saving properties in batch leads now, there's a really cool feature where you can actually save the agents as well. So I can save these agents from property search as well. So this is another way to build that list. If you're looking for very specific or granular property or buy box material, you can send those agents directly to the agent outreach directory.
And what I like about this even more so is that I can put these agents into a dialer, and now I can just power dial realtors and I can make these assessments quickly. So let's talk about this. First and foremost, if you're going direct to seller, how many homeowners do you typically see one of your customers needing to contact before they get a lead or before they get a deal? Do you know that metric?
I do.
Okay, so from what we've tested, it's about 200. Okay, so they got to talk to 200 homeowners before they're getting a deal. Okay, so 200 people. Okay, so how long does that take? It's going to take quite a while, right? They got to talk to very likely 500 people, maybe even more, maybe even 1,000 people before they get to actually talk to 200 people, right? And they're going to dial 1,000 people before they talk to 200 people. So when you think about that, 1,000 records, 1,000 skip traces, all that, that's costly. Now, if you're talking to real estate agents, okay, think of this, who are spending their day actively marketing. If the average active realtor will talk to 50 people to see if they're interested in selling their house, and if you talk to 50 realtors who are each talking to 50 homeowners every single day, how many effective conversations are you having with a homeowner every single day? Do you know what that math is? 2,500 effective conversations with homeowners every single day. Every single day. Just imagine, that's basically your lead generation on steroid. There's a reason why my company does more volume than any other wholesale operation around. It's the network effect. It's compounding, right? This is why this works. Sure, my deals aren't as juicy as the direct to seller deal. I'll admit that. But my average is 15K a deal. And I get to do 60 to 80 of those a month. So that's the trade-off. So for all of the people that are watching this right now, my suggestion is a mix of both. You should be doing both in your business. You should be spending time talking to homeowners and you should be spending time talking to agents. If you spend 5 of your hours every single day talking to homeowners and another 3 of your hours of your workday talking to real estate agents, just imagine what power you'd be adding to your business.
And again, too, on the cost, guys, you're not skip tracing here. This is free with any batch.
And this comes with batch leads, right?
Yeah.
Anonymous attendee said, when an agent proposes the cash offer to a seller and they explain to their seller that they will be getting the commission from their buyer, what does that process look like? And what general paperwork is used in that conversation between the buyer and the agent look like? Fantastic question, Anonymous. So this is how that works. That would be where your real estate agent is now representing the buyer, not the seller. So these are the documents. You would have a buyer broker agreement. You would have agency form. So there would be a buyer broker agreement between the buyer and the real estate agent. There would be an unrepresented seller document where the seller would sign an unrepresented seller document, meaning that they're not represented. Those are the 3 legal forms. And then there would be a commission instruction between the buyer and the buyer's agent to speak to how much the agent was going to be paid in commission. Okay, I hope that all made sense.
How would you use batch leads as an agent? A couple reasons, right? So unlike the MLS, which you do have access to that in batch leads, you can find new potential listings using batch leads, right? So looking for motivated sellers, whether they're, like we talked about earlier, empty nesters, or you can look for absentee owners or out-of-state owners that maybe have, a large portfolio of rental properties, but they're 75 years or older, right? They're going to want to probably sell those, right? As part of their retirement. So you can find new listings by looking for motivated sellers who have not yet engaged with an agent or listed on the market. But also as an agent, you can find cash buyers and search for investors in batch leads. So if you've got properties or listings that you're trying to move, I mean, you're flexible on price. You can look for buyers in your area or around that property that are currently buying homes that look like that one.
So agents don't realize that agents can do agent outreach. It's kind of like, you ever watch the movie Inception? It's like a dream within a dream. Well, this is what it is, right? First and foremost, let me tell you about how powerful it is when agents do agent outreach. Agents like other agents. They do. They trust them. Immediately, if you're a real estate agent and you're calling another real estate agent and you identify yourself as a real estate agent, you're disarmed. You're immediately in trust. You listen, and immediately you're receptive to what the person has to say. It's just a natural thing. Why? Because this person went through the same thing you did. The same licensing, same protocol, same ethic. It's so like the trust is automatically there. Alignment is done. Now, how agents do agent outreach is just simple. If say I'm with Remax, right? So if I call you, Phil, you're a realtor. I say, Phil, hi, this is Jamil with Remax. I'm calling because I saw that you're a pretty active real estate agent. I'm also a real estate agent here in the state of Arizona and Phoenix specifically. I have a client right now who is looking for anything that's like a dirty hoarder house, something in original condition, something just so terrible you'd be ashamed to list it on the MLS. I'm looking for something like that, but I'm trying to find it before you put it on the MLS. He really likes pocket listings. Now, because my agent pays me directly, I'm willing for you to take all 6% of commission. I don't even want to be paid the commission. You can keep the full 6%. I'm just prospecting on behalf of my client right now. You have anything like that coming up that I can see? And guys, you don't understand that opener, that conversation that an agent has with another agent. It works so well. It's like the golden opener. And again, real estate agents love other real estate agents. So they're willing and they're open to talk. They're willing and they're open to talk to other realtors in their office to try to fill the order. Plus, when you incentivize an agent with 6% over 3%, now they really want to work with you, right? So that right there is another way for agents to be able to leverage this tool.
I've seen a couple questions here, Jamil, of folks just saying, hey, I'm excited about this, but I'm not quite sure what to say when I make that first call. So do you have any advice? Do you want to have an opportunity ready before you make that call? Do you want to have a specific property you want to reference?
I'm going to give you guys the best opening script you ever need. So again, let's pretend you're a realtor. Hi, is this Phil?
It is.
Phil, my name is Jamil. I'm a local buyer in Phoenix, Arizona. I saw you had just listed a house on Earl Drive. Great house, by the way. And the reason I'm calling you is because I'm actually looking for properties on the east side of Phoenix right now that are in original condition, needing a substantial amount of work, something like a hoarder house, or just the dirtier, the better. Phil, can I ask, do you have anything coming to market that you haven't listed yet that fits that description that I can take a look at?
I actually do. Yeah. I'm talking to someone who we might be bringing on next month. Yeah.
Amazing. So Phil, how I work is if you can present me with this deal, you can represent me and the seller as well. I'd love for you to make the full 6%. I'm just honestly looking for something to purchase very quickly. Is it available for me to take a look at right away? Can you send me an address and I can run the numbers and get some details from you and tell you what my maximum amount is I can pay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I also send you the other list, my other listings that I'm having moving right now? Please send me everything you got. I know you might have some stuff right now that's sitting on the MLS that hasn't had any action on it. Again, very likely because it's priced incorrectly. And sometimes it's just because the seller is driving the price, and I get it. So please don't be offended. I'm not going to lowball you, but I can give you 100% of as is value. So I'm very honest about, of course I have to make an investment. I have to spend money to fix the house. So of course I can't do that for free. I have to make a profit, but I'll give you the maximum amount of money that I can give you for a house in its current condition. Does that sound fair? Send me those texts with the addresses and I'll hit you right back. That's it. I mean, guys, it doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. Just speak confidently, tell them exactly what you're looking for. Also remember this, when you're talking to realtors, you're not selling them. They are selling you. I think too often what happens is people call agents and they start the song and dance. They start the razzle dazzle. They're like, hi, Phil, how are you today? It's nice to talk to you. Isn't the weather so amazing? Well, Phil, I am a cash buyer and I have got a lot of money. And I'm just wondering, Phil, if we could build a relationship together and maybe I can help you make some more money. And at the same time, you can help me. Click. Because that's what happens when you start to creep people out. That's how you sound when you're being a salesperson to an agent. Don't do that, right? They're selling you. You're the buyer. You write the check.
You're the person who has access to my $20 million. So walk out in the world like you've got access to $20 million. Have the confidence of somebody who has access to $20 million. Okay. When you walk with that confidence, listen, every one of you on this call right now, I'm backing you. I'm financially backing you. You all have access to that money. You are all now legitimate investors. Walk and talk in that same energy and just watch how these conversations change. Just watch how the agent changes the way that they talk to you.
It's time for maybe one or two more questions, guys. So what do you say to the listing agent if and when they say, if the property gets listed on the MLS, why wouldn't your buyer just buy it off the MLS?
Great question, Jeremy. Here's the reason why I like to buy houses before they get listed. I'm flipping these houses quite often. And what ends up happening is when you put a house on the MLS, you create what's called a price stamp. Now, when I go fix that house and I spend a bunch of money on it and I try to sell it for a profit, what happens is the appraiser, they look at what I paid for the house. And then for whatever reason, they get in cahoots with the lender and they make these decisions on how much they feel it's appropriate for me to make, or how much they think it would have cost me to do the renovation, which they have no clue about. And it just makes it so hard for me when I'm selling the house, when an agent lists the property and there's a price stamp on the purchase. So it's just better for me. And in fact, I can pay you more money. I can give you a better offer if you keep it off market than I could give you if you listed it on the MLS. And so it's better for you, it's better for your customer, and it's better for me. So this is why I like to keep them off MLS.
Thank you so much, Jamil, for being here with us today. Appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you guys have all learned something today and you're motivated, inspired to start working with agents. It is the way to make money today. So thank you all so much for being here and have a great one.